Millions of people read books, watch videos, and listen to podcasts about achieving financial independence. Yet, the vast majority remain stuck in a relentless cycle, trading hours to pay off last month's credit cards and living paycheck to paycheck. This gap between intention and reality built a massive industry. Authors like Robert Kiyosaki sold the compelling idea that wealth begins in the mind, that if you stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an investor, the money will follow. But an investor mindset without a strict, localized mathematical strategy produces absolutely nothing. You cannot think your way out of a 20% interest rate on a maxed-out credit card. True financial freedom is a strict equation. It is the exact, verifiable threshold where your passive income permanently exceeds your living expenses. Once you cross that line, you own your time. Consuming motivational content without executing that math is just entertainment. People fail to build wealth because they take advice meant for a millionaire and try to apply it to a negative net worth. They are using the wrong math for their current life phase. Achieving financial autonomy always demands a transaction. You have to sacrifice some degree of present-day consumption to buy back your future time. This quadrant chart maps out that exact trade-off. On the bottom axis, we have the timeline to freedom, ranging from 10 to 40 years. On the vertical axis, we measure the daily effort and lifestyle sacrifice required, scaling from low to extreme. The math forces you into one of two extremes. If you want rapid autonomy, you have to accept extreme daily sacrifice. If you prefer low daily sacrifice, you have to accept decades of patience before you can stop working. Advice paralysis sets in when you try to blend these approaches. You cannot live a low-sacrifice lifestyle while expecting a 10-year timeline. When you mix strategies from opposing quadrants, the math breaks and the system fails. To actually buy back your time, you need to stop searching for universal advice. Locate your exact starting line, accept the corresponding trade-off, and commit to one specific blueprint. The first blueprint is for the foundation fixer. This is the mandatory starting point for anyone currently bleeding cash to high-interest consumer debt, like credit cards or payday loans. The inputs here are brutal but necessary. You have to aggressively audit every dollar you spend, institute a mandatory 48-hour waiting period on all non-essential purchases, and route 50% of your disposable income entirely toward clearing that debt. On the matrix, the foundation fixer's input is routing half your cash to debt. The outcome eliminates wealth traps, shifting you from consumer to saver. The trade-off is extreme lifestyle restriction. Upon finishing, you are simply at step 0. Some try to skip this by investing in the stock market while holding a balance on a credit card. If the market returns 8%, but your card charges 22%, you are losing 14% every single year. The math does not care about your stock picks. For the foundation fixer, financial freedom is not about getting rich yet. It is purely an exercise in surviving the math required to get back to a net worth of 0. Once you are out of the debt trap, you qualify for the second blueprint, the pragmatic planner. This is built for mid-career professionals who want to guarantee their future wealth without subjecting themselves to extreme frugality today. The inputs shift from aggressive to automatic. You set up a system that routes 10 to 15% of your gross income straight into diversified, tax-advantaged accounts before that money ever hits your checking account. Looking back at our matrix, the pragmatic planner's primary input is that automated, invisible 10 to 15% deduction. The psychological benefit here is massive. Because your wealth generation is handled automatically in the background, you have complete permission to spend the remaining 85% of your income entirely guilt-free on your present-day lifestyle. The outcome is a highly probable, comfortable retirement, driven by compound interest working quietly over decades. But the trade-off is time. This path dictates a standard 30 to 40-year career, locking your wealth behind strict government age penalties. The pragmatic planner trades speed for comfort. You will guarantee your wealth eventually, but you are strictly sacrificing the dream of early retirement to enjoy your life right now. The final blueprint belongs to the FIRE optimizer. FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. This is strictly for those willing to endure severe present-day sacrifice to unlock absolute time autonomy while still in their 30s or 40s. The math here is rigid. You take your annual living expenses and multiply them by 25. That figure is your absolute target number. Once your investments reach that threshold, you can theoretically withdraw 4% a year indefinitely. On the matrix, inputs escalate. To hit that 25x multiple quickly, you must maintain a savings rate of 50% or higher, requiring aggressive secondary income streams. The outcome mathematically compresses a 40-year career into a 10 to 15-year sprint, but you expose yourself to sequence of returns risk. This is the danger that a stock market crash happens in the first few years of your retirement, permanently crippling a portfolio that now has to last 50 years instead of 20. To survive that risk, the trade-off requires building a 20% overfunding buffer to weather inflation, all while enduring a decade of near-poverty lifestyle deflation to keep your target number low. The FIRE movement is mathematically sound. However, it is a brutal psychological trap for anyone unwilling to endure severe, long-term sacrifice to purchase their future time. Achieving financial freedom is impossible if you borrow tactics from a blueprint that does not match your starting line. To pinpoint your exact path, we use this decision tree. It starts with one objective question. Do you have high-interest consumer debt? If the answer is yes, you must ignore all advanced investing advice, ignore early retirement forums, and fully commit to the foundation fixer path until the balance is zero. If you are debt-free, you drop to the secondary node. You have to honestly answer, are you willing to drastically cut your current lifestyle to retire in 15 years? Those willing to make the sacrifice enter the FIRE path. Those who prioritize present-day experiences and comfort must automate their savings as pragmatic planners. You have complete permission to ignore investing legends like Warren Buffett if their strategies conflict with your current node on the flowchart. His advice is optimized for capital preservation at scale, not for someone trying to escape credit card debt. Financial freedom is not found by adopting a guru's mindset. It is achieved by looking at your accounts, accepting a specific mathematical trade-off, automating the daily inputs, and letting time execute the equation.